Sergia Louise. We are super excited to go live interview with Johanna Sapakie. And we're going to be talking to her about her adventures of becoming JLo's celebrity pole trainer. Super excited to talk to you guys about this today. She has had such a cool journey in pole, along with being in Cirque du Soleil, all sorts of cool things. And I've always wanted to know her story and what it was like working with celebrities and training them to perform on the pole. One of the things that she did was choreograph and was a part of putting together the JLo's infamous pole Super Bowl routine. Yeah, so we will get to it. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Well, good afternoon in California. We are talking to Johanna Sapakie today. Yeah, I'll just wait for her to request on, and then we'll get started. Does anyone have any questions about LUPIT poles that I can answer? Oh, I see Johanna. Hold on, let me go see if... Go ahead, Johanna. Oh, trying to join. Yes. Okay. All right. Let me know.
There we are. Found it.
How's it going?
Hey, I'm so glad we figured this out. Yay!
Cool. Yes, I know you're getting it to the studio. We have about 45 minutes to kind of pick your brain about your experience.
Yes, I am here
in the
in
world
the
and hear your
circus space.
Cool. Where are you? Tell us.
I am at Las Vegas Circus Center right now, which is a circus training facility here in Las Vegas. It's where we're doing all of our acrobatic trainings and our pole trainings for the show that we are working on putting up in Nashville. So I'm just here before my rehearsal to talk to you lovely people. Some of our cast members are over there warming up right now. Hi, ladies. Hi. They're going to do their acrobatic training, and then I do my pole training and my acro training after them. So it's a busy time.
Great. Tell us more about this particular show. Who is putting this show on?
Oh my gosh. I'm so freaking excited about this show, you guys. I can't even tell you. So it's a show that's going up in Nashville, and it's the first cirque style residency show that's going to sit down in Nashville. So it's a bunch of us, former cirque artists and dragon artists, who are doing kind of high level acrobatics. There's live music. It's definitely a don't bring your children adult style show. So it's got some really fun comedy in it. But we've been working really hard on putting the show together here in Las Vegas. And in just a week, oh my God, in a week, we're all going to truck to Nashville together and start putting the show up in its theater there in Nashville. So we're kind of in our final stages where we're running full acts, we're running full scenes, we're like final stages of putting it together after months and months of work. So it's a really exciting time.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
And yeah, to be at that end where it's all coming together, it's like the most exciting time.
Completely. Yes. After a million changes and a million, anybody that's ever put an act together knows that you don't just from beginning to end put an act together. It's like a million different variations of trial and error to find what works for the show and for the clients and for the content. And, that's the fun part. I love that creative process of, trial and error and seeing what's going to come of it all. And so to finally we've had some trial audiences here in Vegas watching what we've been doing. So to finally get an audience response to all of our work has been amazing.
Yeah, to put it in front of an audience for the first time after you've been living with it for so long.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you're like, oh my God, they laughed at all the jokes. Yay, they're funny, It's the best because after you've been working on something for long enough, you're like, is it good anymore? I can't tell. I've been doing it too long. And so to put it in front of objective eyeballs and get their response to it, you're like, oh, phew, we think it's good. It might actually be good. Okay, great. Yeah, it's fun.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about your journey to pole, because did you start as a cirque artist? I actually don't know exactly how you came into the pole world and how you eventually, became the celebrity trainer for J-Lo. You worked on her Super Bowl act. Is that
Hmm.
correct?
Yes, yes, Hustlers and Super Bowl. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We had so much fun with that. Yeah. We're actually about to super secret project work with JLo again next week on a project she's doing, and that's all I can say about it. But one more time with her for Paul is always a pleasure. So we're excited about that. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, I came to pole kind of, I think, probably the opposite way that most people did. I came backwards through it because I started as a dancer forever and always. I grew up dancing at a studio in my hometown in Minnesota, danced forever there, and then moved out to Los Angeles to become a professional dancer and found my way into aerial acrobatics first. So I started with aerial tissue and aerial hoop and straps and whatnot, and joined Cirque du Soleil, and then found pole through Cirque du Soleil because one of the acts that I was in, the first show that I did with Cirque, started as a pole act. And so we kind of started working pole through Cirque du Soleil, and then the act totally changed and it became not a pole act. But myself and one of the other cast members in the show kind of got the bug from that and fell in love with it. And then after that taste, it was like full on, get myself my own pole, start training every day, get excited about
What?
it. And then, yeah,
Yes.
it came from that.
Yeah.
Say that
What year was this around? Like when you got the bug for pole?
2000, we'll say 2010, 2009, 2010 was the creation for the first Cirque show that I did. So I started there, and so many of the, inverting mechanics and upper body strength and core strength are similar in these aerial disciplines, not the same, but similar-ish, right? So I found that I understood the mechanics of it. And because I have such a passion for dance and for movement, it felt like a really yummy transition for me, kind of putting all of those pieces together in one discipline. So yeah, around 2009, 2010, I started getting into it more, and then I dove full force into it after that.
So who would you say, like, when you did get the bug for pole, who were some of the people that you were getting influenced by at the time?
Well, the first person at the time that because I was so foreign to the pole world when I first started, I knew nothing about it. So the first person that we knew that did dance pole or acro pole was Felix Kane, because she was in Zumanity at the time, which is another Cirque show here in Las Vegas. So that was kind of all we knew. We knew Felix, and if anybody knows who she is, if you don't, oh my God, Google. She's incredibly talented lady. And so we knew of her, and that was pretty much it at the beginning. And then we started to kind of deep dive into the pole world and started to find other inspirations from there. We found Janine Butterfly. And then from there, it kind of went into Fania, who has a studio here in Las Vegas, Jamila, some of the Lupit people between Marlo, who I'm a huge fan of because her movement quality is just beyond. Alberto Del Campo, who's a good friend of mine, who also lives and works here in Vegas. Just anybody who's kind of doing it their own way, that is really take the discipline and kind of find their own path. I'm really excited about. So, that's a very short list of probably the thousands of polars that I'm a big fan of. Because I think any of us that do it really respect everybody else that does it, because we all know it's not easy. So anybody that's putting that much time and love and energy into it, I'm a big fan of.
So cool. So then did you kind of start teaching over at Shine, or started, after you had that discipline through Cirque, did you end up making an act through Cirque on the pole eventually?
Yeah, so the first Cirque show I did, like I said, I was exposed to pole and then kind of got my own home equipment and kind of went from there on my own training journey. And then the second cirque show I did, I actually was doing a pole act in that show. So that was my first official pole act in a cirque show, but I had been doing, corporate gigs and one-off gigs prior to that, kind of in pole and in aerial acrobatics, and of course dance kind of the whole time. I've always, once a dancer, always a dancer. Um, but yeah, so the first official pole act that I did in a cirque show was in a show called Michael Jackson 1, which is still running here in Las Vegas. There's a fantastically fun pole act in that show. So I was doing that, and then I have always loved teaching and coaching. It's one of my favorite things to do is help other people find their potential. I'm sure you know too, you get people who think they can't or won't or don't, and then when they do, it's just the most gratifying, satisfying thing ever. It just gives you all the good butterflies in the best way when somebody realizes they can. You're like, yes, yes, you can. I knew you could. So when I was here in Vegas, finding Shine Alternative Fitness, which is a training center here in Vegas that a gentleman from Zumanity actually started, Dima Shine. I've been teaching pole over there once a week for a couple of years now. And I get, it's so nice to see return students progressing. People that have been with me for a while now and seeing their potential is just, it's just the best thing. It's so satisfying.
Yeah, totally. I know it gives back in a whole new way. You kind of get to train people the way that you wanted, that you wish someone gave you as you were coming up. You're like, here's
And
the
it's 100%. And I fancy myself a lifelong student. I
Yeah.
feel like we can always learn something new from anyone, from any class, from any teacher. There is no, I'm too good for this class or that class, because it's not even about the move you're working on, but exactly like you just said, maybe it's something about the way somebody explains something or the technique they use to unlock something in their students that maybe you've never heard before. And so I always feel like when I have to teach somebody else something that maybe I've been doing for years now, I'm going to learn more about myself and the way I do things through that process. Because I know sometimes too, and I'm sure this happens for you, you've been doing a skill for so long that you're no longer thinking about it. And then somebody will ask you a question and you're like, I don't know. Let's find out together. It's like, I don't know why I do it like that. Or I don't know why I put that hand there. Or where is my weight? Or how am I not falling out of that position? I don't know. And then you learn more about yourself and your process and how you do what you do because you have to explain it to someone else. And I love that too, because again, like you said, you're getting so much back from the situation, from the experience, that it feels like I'm not teaching them, we're teaching each other. Which selfishly, I love that. I love learning from my students as much as they learn from me.
Yeah. So when you go out to do this show with Nashville, how long are you going to be out there? Are you leaving your teaching situation for the time being, or what then?
So the contract is for a year. So we're moving out there for a year, but kind of the lucky benefit of this particular show is the show run is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So
Okay.
the plan is to kind of be bi-coastal, right? So I'll be doing shows in Nashville Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but my husband and my house are still here in Vegas. So I plan on coming back and forth all the time. And Shine has always been so gracious with me and with my schedule and all the craziness that I have going on at the same time, that the plan is to still be able to teach there as often as possible. So when I come back into town, to be able to pop in and still do classes with my students is, I'm going to try to fit it all in. That's always the goal. Do everything.
Saturday, that's not always the case, so that's great.
Oh, it's such a beautiful schedule. Yeah, we're doing 5 shows over 3 days, which after doing cirque for 10 years, where you're doing 10 to 12 shows a week, you're like, 5 shows, no problem. So it'll be great.
Oh, neat. Okay. So
Yeah.
take me back to what brought you, because it was the first project that you worked with JLo on, was that Hustlers?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
that was the first pole project I worked on. Oh my God. Hi, Luke. Hi. Oh, my friend Luke just joined. Hi, Luke. The first pole project I worked on with Jennifer was Hustlers, we had done some other projects together prior to that, as a dancer and as a choreographer. I'd worked with her, but that was her first touch of the pole ever, was for Hustlers. Yeah.
So tell me the story. So what was the project that kind of brought you into her her team, and then where did it go from there? Because it seems like, am I right that maybe I have no idea, but she just enjoyed so the Hustler situation, got the bug herself, and then decided, hey, let's do this for the Super Bowl. Is that true? I'm not sure.
Um, Basically, yeah. I mean, it's so interesting because she did it for Hustlers, and I think recognized very clearly that this is freaking hard. But she's such a workhorse. When she wants to get something, she'll like put the time in so that she can do it and do it well. And so I think what she found through that is the empowerment that comes from being able to do that type of a skill set. And Super Bowl was all about female empowerment and female energy and super strong, amazing women doing their thing. And so I think she wanted to include pole in that, because that for her at that time was like the pinnacle of what she was doing as far as strength and power, and not just physical strength and power, but you know, we all know the emotional and mental strength and power it takes to do stuff like this also. So I think she wanted to include it because it was really making her, you know, makes you feel badass. And that was a badass moment and a badass performance. So yeah, we finished Hustlers, and then I went to do another job for about 6 months on another project, and I got a call right at the end of that job saying, hey, Jennifer's doing Super Bowl and she wants to include pole. You want to do it? And I was like, yeah, yes, please. Can you imagine? No, I'm not free. Yeah, I'll clear my schedule, no problem. So yeah, we got to come. And then my favorite part too is obviously working with her again is always a blessing, but getting able to hire 5 other amazing female polers for that project to do that with me was such a blessing, to be able to pass the work around with other people, you know, are awesome humans to work with. So getting to grab a couple people from New York, a couple people from Vegas, a girl from Washington, a girl from North Carolina, and just bring them all together for that project. It was like cherry picking, you know, my favesies. It was awesome. Yeah.
So neat. Yeah. So what was then after the Super Bowl and riding on that high? I mean, curious, has J-Lo decided to keep pole dancing, or is she, you know, like where's it going for her?
That's everybody's question. They're like, does she still do it? Like,
Yeah.
I think the sitch with her is, can you imagine? Just showing up in like a Tuesday intro class. Yeah, no. But no, so for someone like her who's always doing 9 million things at once, she's really focused on the project she's working on at the time. So when she was doing Hustlers and then when she was doing Super Bowl, she was all in on pole trainings because she needed it to legitimately do those jobs well. After those jobs are over, she's immediately on to the next one, like focused on the next job. What does she need to learn for that? What does she need to focus on for that? So she did, to the best of my knowledge, she didn't keep up her pole training after that because she was now on to the next training for the next role, essentially. So I am not aware of her still doing, you know, like a home practice. But, you know, I'll ask next week. Be like, hey, girl, you still doing it? How you doing? Yeah. Yeah.
So so in a perfect world where you were able to lay out, you know, the next 5 years of projects and gigs for yourself, right?
Oh my
So
God, 5 years. Oh.
yeah. Well, if nothing was in your way to work on whatever you wanted to work on, to be where you wanted to be working with who you wanted to work on, to be doing the things that you personally love to do with pole, where do you see yourself?
Well, if Elon Musk wants to just give me like a cool billion to just do whatevs, um, I think the ultimate goal always for me since I was young was to be able to do my own show and to be able to take my time and create art and pay the artists what they deserve to be paid because they're putting in a ton of time and love and energy. You know, so many of us do these passion projects where we get to really create our own thing, but we do them for free because the passion projects are always the ones you're like kind of doing on the side. So if I had my, ideal nirvana situation, thanks, Luke, it would be to be able to put together my own show that included pole, that included aerial acrobatics, that included, amazing dance numbers, and put it in a venue that didn't have to satisfy any corporate entities, so to speak. Anytime you're working on big projects, say for example, the Super Bowl, like, yeah, you want to do whatever you want to do, but you have to satisfy the NFL, and you have to satisfy Pepsi, and you have to satisfy Jennifer, and you have to satisfy all these different entities. And so the job is really to figure out how to do the most amazing piece of work or product that you can do and satisfy everybody as best as you can, and then hold on to as much of yourself as possible. But you're not just doing what you want to do, because it's not about you. It's about the clients and the product and the end result, right?
Yes.
So that's the corporate piece of the puzzle, of course. But if I had, unlimited resources, it'd be like, listen, I don't really care if this satisfies anybody but us artists. Let's put together the most badass show we can, and do the kind of art that we want to do, and put it out in the world and let people enjoy it. And whether we make $1 or not is not the goal. The goal is to make sick art,
Yeah.
So
cool.
Hey, Elon, I'm sure you're there watching this right now, because you always tune into Loop It Live. So I'll give you my Addy, and you can just send me that cool bill whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, within 5 years, I expect to see this up.
It's certainly a goal, because going to Nashville is a really big step. Because I've been in Vegas for so long, and I was in LA before that, and I really love the West Coast. I love my life here. I love my life in LA. So going to Nashville felt like a giant, oh my God. But what's really exciting about it is there is a circus community in Nashville. It's small, but it's mighty. And so all of us from Vegas who are now coming to Nashville want to blow up that circus community. We want to put them more in the forefront of the entertainment piece of the puzzle in that city. We want to create cabarets. We want to create more performance opportunities for the circus artists that are there in Nashville that might not know how to produce those kind of shows that we've been doing here in Vegas forever. So we want to kind of get there and say, oh my God, let's do this, you guys. We can do this. Here, let us help you, because we have experience doing it here in Vegas. So hopefully in less than 5 years, we'll be doing more of these shows in that environment, and helping kind of increase the presence of the circus community, in that city.
Cool. That's so neat. And you were talking about this wonderful thing of just always being a student and always being out there, and the dream is to always be a student. I think we're all just a bunch of nerds, and we just all want to take each other's classes as best as possible.
Totally.
Yes, this is my time. But yeah, I'm curious and this obviously for every artist like evolves over time. Like at first you're like, oh, I really want to I really want to take some classes in, I don't know, this form of dance, and I really want to train in this, but then I want to try this acrobatic thing, whatever. Where your journey been recently where you want to be a student, where you're like, oh, I want to take that class. I want to try this discipline, or like what's getting you excited as a student these days?
Oh my gosh. The answer is always a million different things, which is, I think, my biggest asset and my biggest fault is I like too many things. I'm like this wall, too many colors, man, too many freaking colors. But I like so many different things. So for me, the biggest challenge is finding time to taste test as many things as I can, and still find time to rest at some point, which I'm super bad at. I'm super bad at resting. I got to work on resting. I think what's most interesting to me now is learning the how And I guess what I mean by that is I've been a question asker. Whenever I take classes, I am the annoying student that's like, but how do you, but why do you, but how does that, but what? I ask a million questions. I'm super annoying
The
like
best.
that. But it's because I want to understand. I don't want to just do it. I want to understand how it works because I'm very cerebral and I feel like if I get how it works, I can do it. Maybe not immediately, but if I understand how it works, I can visualize it. I can figure out the pathways to get there, and then I'll get it. I will get it if I can understand it. So I
Mhm.
think for me, it's been diving into anatomy and understanding more about like the idiosyncrasies of the body and how the body works. Because I think too, as we get older and older, instead of quantity, it really becomes quality in our training. Because one, we just don't have the time because we're adulting all day long. But also, two, our bodies can't handle doing something 1,000 times to get it right. I can do it about 4 times before my back or my hips are going to go, nah. So all 4 of those times have to count. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
understanding too, like how the body works and how the body's put together and how it functions when it's in its best state and when it's in its compromised state, is super interesting to me because I feel like if I, again, can understand that piece of the puzzle, then I can get my body to do what I'm asking it to do. So I think it's that. It's like I have all these that you're totally gonna giggle, but I have like anatomy coloring books at home. Because if I like color in certain muscle groups, I understand where they connect and how they move and da da da. And so it seems like a silly way to learn, but for me, because it's very visual and it's very tactile, and I'm coloring my spleen purple or whatever, I can really understand the body better, and that just translates more into movement capacity and movement quality, which I'm super interested in. So we'll say anatomy and then laundry list of anything in the air. I love everything in the air. Anything that makes you feel like you're
Uh,
flying.
cool. Oh, there's a question here. Is there anything you can't do that you want to learn how to do? From Jenna, she's asking.
If that's Janaea, hey Janaea. Um, well, I'd really love. Okay, so in my next life, for sure, I'm gonna be a flying squirrel. Then don't ask questions. Then after that, I'm gonna be a super good singer. So I would like, just because, like, flying squirrels, they're like, and then they just go. I'd like to do that. But also that, I would love to be able to sing well. My mom can sing beautifully, and that gene skipped right over me and onto the other side because kittens, not me. But I envy people that can just like open their mouths and sing beautifully. I think that's like happy birthday at a birthday party, not this girl. Like, don't mic me. No. So I would need to develop time. But like, I'm sure you all can tell at this point, I'm a very chatty person. I'm super outgoing. And then you ask me to sing in front of people, and I am like super shy, freaking wallflower. Oh my God, no, horrified. I am so nervous to sing notes in front of humans. So I would like to be able to sing better, but I would need some serious help. So so we'll say that.
Got it.
I had to sing one time once in front of I was working with Madonna a long time ago, and we were putting a number together for her. And most artists, when you put numbers together for them, you put the complete number together, excuse me, with the artist in it, a person standing in where the artist will be. And then you present the number to the artist so they could see it, what it would look like with them in it. And then they'll make changes and they'll decide and then they'll stick themselves in, right? So we were working on this project for Madonna, and I was playing her, and it was time to present it for Madonna. And her team said to me, "You're going to have to sing it because she's not going to feel good about doing all the choreography and movement you've given her and singing live unless you prove to her that
Yeah.
you can sing live and do this movement." And I was like, "Kids, I don't know if you want that. I don't know if that's a selling point."
This
But
is
I
a
had
great.
to, like, yeah, like, what do you do? Say no? Sorry, Madonna, can't do that. Like, no, you have to do it, right? So I had to, make sure, first of all, don't screw up the words. You better learn those words. So he was like, go home, learn all the words, make sure you're not messing it up. And then I had to sing her song for her. Oh, you guys. So,
That's
that
that's
might be
just
like the one and only time that I really like let it fly in front of like a group of people. Yeah. Yes.
that's amazing. It makes sense, because if she's like,
Well,
all right, now sing while you do that, okay?
but
And then
legit, I mean, 100%. Like it does super make sense that she's not going to
that's
trust
hilarious.
that she can full out kill that movement and sing at the same time. So prove it. Prove you can do it, and then I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe it. So I'm like, all right, cool. I hear you. I don't know if you're going to want to hear me, but I'll do my best. I'll do my best. So yeah, but I was like
Um,
trembling about it. It was so freaking scary, y'all. Oh my God. Yeah. So,
of course,
so
you
we'll
were
say
doing it,
sing, Janaea, sing. That's the long answer to your question. Is I should learn how to sing at some point.
and
Yeah.
of course, you're around all the other dancers, probably like clients, the whole team, her whole team.
I mean, you're just like, and then don't mess up the choreography. Mm-mm. And like, it was something like where at the beginning I had to like take off a jacket. So they're also like, make sure the zipper doesn't stick. And you're like, oh, why'd you even say that? Now I'm stressing about the zipper. And then they hand you her mic, which is like diamond encrusted with an M. And you're like, no, I'm gonna drop this. Don't.
Yeah, you need to be
Yeah.
able to move with that weight in your hand. Her mic,
Well,
not
aren't you
a
like,
prop
do
mic.
you guys have a right? You're like, do you have a practice one? Like, I don't want hers. Like, what if my hands are dirty? Like, don't give me hers. Yeah, just the stress, you guys. But then that's the thing is that like then you do it and it goes well, and it's like again an incredibly satisfying scenario where you're like, I was scared shitless. I did it anyway because it wasn't dangerous. It was just scary. So you do it anyway. You pull your big girl panties up and you do it anyway. And you're like, look at that. Just like I was saying about my students, like you took it on, you handled it, and you proved to yourself you could do it. And then you're like, all right, if I can do that, shit, I can do anything. It's fine. It's fine.
And that's
Yeah.
what too is that like prove it to yourself, because once you've proved it to yourself that you can do it, I always like tell my
Right.
students, I'm like, I don't want to give you today's fish. Like I want to teach you how to fish because I want you to prove to
Right.
yourself you do it by yourself. Because once you have that, no one can take that away from you. Once you have that understanding of your ability,
Yes.
no one can ever
Yes.
take that away. Not like a gift that someone gives it now is now taken away. It's like yours forever. And knowing that you
Yeah.
can do that, create that on your own or do a free dance on your
Yeah.
own or whatever. So
Totally.
cool.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, we used to say this when I would teach dance all the time as well, but with pole, with aerial acrobatics, but with anything really, the discipline that you're learning is just the conduit to learn about yourself, to learn how you can operate in the world. Because how many people that we teach are going to be professional pole dancers? 0.1%, right? How many people that I teach are going to become professional dancers? 0.1%. But they're all going to become humans. You know what I mean? Living in the world, handling themselves in difficult situations. So, like, if you can teach someone via a certain discipline that they can handle difficult situations confidently, then any situation is, they'll be all right. And again, maybe not immediately, but you teach people that they can, and then they have the confidence to know they can anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, so true. It's such a beautiful
Oh,
thing. It's that's what I always say about, in yoga and stuff, that practice on your mat isn't about yoga. It's about how
right.
you mind goes in a different in this position where you are challenged, you know.
Totally.
So yeah.
Totally. Yes, it is. And we talk about it all the time too, in again in dance class, in rehearsals, in aerial acrobatics. But it feels like it should. Thanks, Janaea. It feels like it's a physical discipline that we're doing, but so much of it is a mental game. So much of it is a mental game, because if you can conquer the discouragement, or you can conquer the fear, or you can conquer the self-doubt, the physical part will come. You can learn the physical part. Some people get it faster than others, but everybody can learn the physical. The hard part is the mental. So putting a focus into the mental part of the game is essential. It's essential to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this
Yay,
is,
Jilly. Yay. Pole dancing has brought you so much confidence. Me too.
yeah. I feel like it's changed so many people's lives, and it's so cool that, you came from so many different disciplines and you found it, and there was something so special about it for you, and all the disciplines that you've
Yeah.
studied. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of any we'll call it discipline, but any situation you find yourself in where you come out the other side going, huh, I know more than I knew before. Not even
Hmm.
I'm better than I was before, but I know more information than I knew before, because sometimes situations don't turn out the way you expected. And we won't call them, failures or they didn't work out, but they might not turn out the way you anticipated. But that doesn't mean they're not worthwhile, because as long as you get something out of it, then there was worth in that experience. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Um,
That next project into the next experience, and yeah.
100%, 100%. There's one of my favorite quotes. Um, it it talks about failure, because we humans quantify failure as such a negative word. It has such a negative connotation. Failure. But it says failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Which
Hmm.
I love, because it takes that word failure and turns it into a stepping stone, right? A failure is not because you didn't succeed. You have to fail in order to succeed, because if you're never failing, you're never trying anything new. You're never doing anything outside of your comfort zone. You're only doing the things you know you can get right the first time. And if that's all you're doing, you're standing in one spot, not moving. You know what I mean? Like, you have to fail when you try something new. There's no way you're going to do it right the first time. That's not human. That's not possible. But if we think of that failure as defeat, then we stop ourselves. But if we think of that failure as the stepping stone to success, no problem. Fail away, baby. You're going to make it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's been so wonderful chatting to you, because it's like, not only do we get to hear your personal story, but there's just been so many wonderful gems and words of wisdom that I feel like I want to go back, take some of these out, loop a poll, take some of these out, quotes, put them up on the like, so
Right.
good. Thank you
Love.
so much for just,
Oh my gosh, my pleasure.
dance and your journey, and not just dance, but life. So yeah, I really,
Yay. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
my pleasure. I like you said, I geek out. I'm a total nerd about pole, aerial acrobatics, dance, anatomy, fitness. Like, I can wax poetic about this stuff for freaking hours. So it is a pleasure to speak with you and anybody that follows the Loop It fan page. It's just such a pleasure. And come around May, everybody get your butts out to Nashville, because this show is going to be ridiculous. We're super, super
Awesome.
excited about it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Good luck in your new venture to Nashville, and we
Thank
will
you.
stay up to you. And I know if you guys watch the Loop It page, you'll be able to see what Joanna is up to as well. So go over to her personal
Okay.
page, make sure you follow her, because you're going to want to see that amazing show that she puts together in the next 5 years too.
Yes, my friends, taking submissions now. Johanna's new show coming soon. Submissions on my page. Johanna Sapakie Real. Send your stuff.
All right.
Yes.
So much. Have a great rehearsal.
Thank you. Talk soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.